of the Central Mississippi chapter of Top Ladies of Distinction Incorporated, where I serve as the Community Partnership Chairperson. I have been employed with G.A. Carmichael as a nurse and in other roles for the last 34 years. Not only have I served my people, the citizens of Canton, as the Ward 6 alderperson, but also as a nurse in other areas through G.A. Carmichael. I try to remember that people may not remember your name, but they'll always remember what you've done for them and how you made them feel, as long as you treat them with respect and dignity that they so rightly deserve. I have accomplished a lot of things, I think, within the last 3 years. I've worked in conjunction with my colleagues on the board, the Madison County Board of Supervisors, and other legislative officials to find resolutions to get our flooding under control. Improving our streets is one of our other main problems that we're trying to improve on. Ridding our community of blighted and dilapidated buildings. We've given pay increases to our police and our fire to make our salaries more comparable to those in surrounding areas. I want to say that I love fostering a sense of community. That's how we get things done. It's not about me, it's about the people. I also want to help promote the positive aspects of Canton. Dispel the myths of the negativity that we so often hear about Canton, as we all have heard in times past. My minutes are up. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lafayette Wales. I'm a lifelong resident of Canton, Mississippi. I'm married. I have a wife and 2 sons. I'm a graduate of Canton High School in 1977, class of 1977. After that, I went on to Tougaloo College, and I graduated from Tougaloo in 1981 with a BS degree in biology. And from there, I did 30 years at the University Medical Center in Jackson, Mississippi as a medical technologist in the division of microbiology. So my hopes and dreams for Canton, it's not about me as a person, it's what we can do for the citizens of Canton. I know sometimes decisions that have been made, everyone did not agree with, but you're gonna have that from time to time, but you can rest assured that they were in the best interest of the citizens of Canton. Our colleagues, we have worked tirelessly together. I'm one that I don't question any of my colleagues' votes or their motives or their actions. I'm strictly going on what's in front of me, what I've read, what I know to be true, and I will promise you, I can only be honest with you, integrity, transparency. I cannot tell you that I will do something when I know it depends on working as a team. We have to work with the mayor and the alderman. The alderman is the legislative branch of this government. And so you need at least 4 votes to get anything done. So I think as a mayor and board of aldermen, I think we need to continually reach out to our board of supervisors, get a good working relationship with them so we could have some more economic opportunities coming in to our city. I see our time is about up, but we are diligently working, and there's a lot of things that we're working on that needs to be completed, and we all want a clean city. And we just thank you all. Thank you for coming, and we look to have you vote on April the 1st. Thank you.
My name is Ronald Carter. I'm running for Alderman Ward 7. I'm a long life of Kansas citizen. All my life, I've been 35 years in Ward 7. I'm married, got 3 kids, and I got 2 grandkids. When I decided to start in this race, I promise you, I'm gonna see it. It got nothing to do with money. I'm in this race because I see some of the things that needs to be done. It's all about the community. It got nothing to do with me. Because if I get elected for Ward 7, it's about the community. It's about getting out in the community like I have done since February 1st. The people are suffering, the people are hurting because of the things that are going on in the community. I feel like they're not being paid attention to. But at the same time, you look at my platform is, it ain't about me. It's all about the community. If I get elected, I work for the community. If I get elected, I see a lot of things that been going on around my campaign trail. It's the fact that things need to be done. These things that I see should have already been done. But what I see, the citizens are complaining about the flooding, they complain about the ditches, they complain about the sewer, and they complain about the roads. That's what I hear from the people in the community. If they get fixed, everything will take care of itself. They're complaining about the abandoned houses, they're complaining about that the police is not patrolling the area. I hear this stuff from the community every day because I rise that ward. I rise, I get out of the community, find what's going on. Feedback is what I'm gonna sit there. Feedback. I want the community to give me feedback of what's going on. I want to be to the fact that I have town hall meetings with the community to see what they got going on. Because you can't go door to door. You have to put a building where you can ask for them to come and address their issues. That's what I'm about. It ain't got nothing to do with money. It's all about the community. I'm gonna work hard to make sure that some of the things get done that should have already been done. Thank you.
Excuse my lateness, everyone. We had a baseball game, a district game today. We just wrapped it up. We won 16-1. I apologize for my dress as well. I didn't think I would make it in time because we had a game, but I'm here. I wanted to see you guys. Chris, could you please tell me what the question was again?
Just introduce yourself.
Introduction. So I thank you. Okay. All right, well, I'm here then. Okay, my name is Dexter Brim, lifelong citizen of Canton, born and raised here, Canton State, stayed in Ward 5 all my life till I moved the King Rental area. We got annexed in and now we're here. Graduated from Canton 2006. Jackson State, I love. I have 2 degrees from there, social science education with 15 hours in political science. So I know about politics and I study the community. I also have a master's degree in secondary education. And I also have a specialist degree in education administration from Arkansas State University 4.0. I was like, also, I'm also a father. I'm also a teacher in this district, 2-time teacher of the year, 1-time star teacher of the year. And that's my favorite, award to get as a teacher because it doesn't come from your principal. It comes from the students and they show that you impacted them that way. And I am still impacting students still to this day. Before I became a head coach here in Canton, I also had a nonprofit organization that I did with youth. So no matter what your ward is and what you represent, I'm sure I have had a child from your ward that I do for free. Nonprofit organization, Canton Diamond Boys, y'all come support us as well. Also, as a team, I understand I'm not trying to make any promises and just say, hey, I promise I'm gonna do this, and this. I understand that there's a group, a team, and as a coach, I plan on working with that. I'm used to working with teams, young, old, in between, using people to help with me coming through. 1 minute left? Okay, great. All right, I went around to Canvas. I know a lot of people, I probably knocked on your door, and you guys have told me a lot of things. I'll try my best, if elected April 1st, to try my best to work with whoever the new mayor is, because you know we're gonna have a new mayor, whoever the team of aldermen are, I'm gonna work with them my best to push our city forward. I hear the things that everyone complain about. I hear people talk about change. It's time. If you believe so, vote for me, and I hope you vote for me. Thank you. 30 seconds left. Along with, I love Kent. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all. I love the youth. Boys and girls club, let's push that. No matter who wins, let's do something for our youth like I'm already doing. I need y'all support. Let's go.
All right, thank you guys so much. All right, this next question is from Ms. Monica Gilkey and Dexter Brim, and it relates to ethical decision making. So how will you maintain ethical standards and avoid conflicts of interest when dealing with appointing board members for the school, CMU, housing authority, and others?
I'll answer first. If you look at my track record, on my voting record, ethical standards are top priority for me. If it means voting against my family member, I have done that. I have abstained from voting for folks that I know wasn't right for positions because I want to do what's right. I know right from wrong. I want to always have people's best interests at heart. I am not a self-pleasing person, and if it's wrong, it's not happening with me. I try to be as honest and as open as I possibly can with everyone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not how you handle it, it's the way that it's presented. So for me, person of integrity, this is not the job for you. If you don't have integrity, you don't have anything. Honesty is the best policy. I don't have a problem with telling people when they're wrong. I don't have a problem telling people when they're doing things correctly. But if it is something that is against the law, it's not happening on my watch. Never have, never will. Thank you.
Yes, when it comes to ethics, as an educator, we have a code of ethics that we have to follow. I've been following those ethics for almost 12 years now. I believe ethics are very, very important to maintain. There is no corruption in politics. Right? I grew up on the notion of an old school saying that right is right and wrong is wrong. I also heard you say when it comes to the school district, being that I am an educator and I may know some people that may be a part of it, I would recuse myself from anything dealing with that situation for the ethical reason that no one believes that I will sway a vote because if I like a person, I know a person. So I'll make sure I remove myself from that. But when it comes to ethics, we do not want to go to jail for nobody. I know I would not go to jail for anyone. I don't care if it's my brother, mother, best friend, whoever. If you're doing wrong, I would not jeopardize my reputation for anything that you think you need because you want to do something for our community and backdoor it. You won't get it from Dexter Briggs. If you want to vote for somebody that may do that, don't vote for me. I'm not saying she will. Excuse me. I'm running a clean campaign. I'm sorry. But don't vote for me if you're looking for a favor. I campaigned myself. I funded everything myself. No one can look for a favor from Dexter Briggs at all. So I'm gonna do what's best for y'all. I promise you that my citizens in my ward and other wards, because if we can stop the flood in my ward, guess what? We don't have everybody else's ward. I'm for the people of Kent. I always have been, always will be. And I pray, everybody make the right decision, do ethical things in our community. Okay, we're tired of corruption, so let's make it smooth.
Thank you guys so much. This question is for Ms. Gilkey. What impact have you made in the city and how will you improve crime in Canton?
As I stated before, we gave pay increases or salary adjustments to both our fire and police because we were having problems attracting skilled people who possess the skills that we needed to make sure that our communities were safe. So we had to maintain the number of people that we had without trying to lose them to other areas. We would raise the salary, another city would raise it even higher. So of course, people were chasing the money. You can't blame them for that. So what we did, we got a scale together, my fellow aldermen and the mayor, and we got some funding where we could actually pay them a little more and give a pay increase. And at that time, we had more people to apply. So what we're trying to do is trying to increase the number of skilled police officers and firemen as well. And let me share a couple of things that we've done through the city. With trying to prevent this crime, we have looked into getting those cameras in all areas of the city, especially those areas where crime has been going in cycles. And you all know where they are. But we know that it takes our community, parents, community, it takes the community. You see something, say something. If you see something, say something. Because if you don't say anything, 9 times out of 10, those persons go on to commit other crimes. So what we're trying to do is to employ people who are highly skilled, who are highly motivated, and who are working to get our crime numbers back down. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm going.
Could you repeat the question, Mr. Fields, about crime?
Yes, sir. It said, what impact have you made in the city and how will you improve crime in Canton?
I think one of the first things we should do to get the numbers down with crime in the city, of course, is to support our law enforcement officers in every way that we can. Let them know we're there to support them. But I also think, most importantly, it's our community. We have to talk to people and say, hey, do you want a better community? Do you want crime out of your community? Then you need to say something to help out. There are anonymous numbers that people can call. I know growing up through Canton, they have this no snitch rule, and I understand it. But if we want to better our community, we have to get the people on board to say, hey, we cannot allow this here in our community. We want our kids to grow up safely. We want to grow up safely. Even if you don't have kids, you live in Kent, you want to be able to walk the streets no matter what time of day, a late night job, evening, morning walk, you want to feel safe. We're going to work with the police officers, ask them to be more present in the neighborhood. I know those are some things that when I was canvassing that our constituents said that they needed. We need more presence, and we're going to try to, my best, if get elected, to work with the chief, try to find innovative ways, whether it's writing grants, find some type of funding to continue to increase their pay raise for our officers. Let them know, hey, Canton is a high-paying place. You can come here and you can patrol our areas and keep our city safe. But again, it's our youth working in the school system. There are things that I think as our youth, as parents, that we should reach out to our parents and say, hey, get your child in the house, get them active in the school system with some type of extracurricular activity to keep them off the streets. Let's try to bring a Boys and Girls Club back. Let's try to bring some good nonprofit. Let's get volunteers in the community. Take our kids and introduce them to different things, whether it's fishing, hiking, biking, something. Put something to do as our youth. Our youth has a high crime rate in the city. And as an educator, I'm really, it's really depressing to see a lot of my former students in jail are on the news that we're reporting. I think we need to give them something to do as well, as long as working with our law enforcement, to make sure our youth are not out here hurting one another, killing one another. We have to guide that. That's a parental thing as well. We won't put that all on the chief because parents have to play their role as well. So let's reach out to them and make sure we help our kids.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams. All right, so this next question is for Mr. Wells and Mr. Carter, and it relates to budgetary responsibilities. So the Board of Aldermen plays a critical role in crafting and approving the city budget. What principles will guide your approach to setting budget priorities and ensuring fiscal responsibility? Mr. Wells.
Yes, sir. In dealing with the budget, our first priority is basically to fire and police for the safety of our citizens, and then public works, as well as parks and rec. But dealing with our budget, there are certain things that we're guidelines by statutory things that we must abide by when we're dealing with the budget. And everything's in the budget, everything that's in the budget, the mayor sits down with the Board of Aldermen. I'm a part of the financial team, and we kind of look at what's going on around us, and we know what monies are coming in, and we try to stay under that threshold because we have to have money for rainy days, and we are doing that right now. Fiscally, the city of Canton is better than it was 4 years ago. I can say that with confidence because we are doing the right thing with what we have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Carter.
On the budget, what I would look into in working with the budget is the fact that about there might be some wasted spending. Wasted spending, the money could be going somewhere else, not going where it's supposed to be. You got to put a budget together. A budget to the fact is that you're paying out money for these different areas. You got to have to the point where that budget is not being wasted, because the budget could be wasted. You could be putting money over here to to do this, but it needed over here. So what I would say is that you got to look at that budget real close. You got to look at the money coming in. You got to know where the money gonna go. So the budget, I understand budget, but it's sometimes some of the wasted, money can be wasted out of the budget. That should go here, but it's going over here. You got to look at the budget real tight. And then if you get money in to go in the budget, then that money should be accountable to the budget. If you look at if you got money that they make, a prime example, if the flooding, it should be where money are designated just for flooding and other stuff. That money designated, the fact
All
is that
right,
nothing.
time. Sorry. Thank you so much, though. So this next question relates to housing, and it's posed to Mr. Carter and Mr. Wells. So, Mr. Wells, Canton has a large number of blighted and abandoned homes. What are your plans to address this problem?
For the blighted properties in Canton, we are constantly right now working with our building and zoning department to demolish some of these homes. We've been going back and forth the last couple of years with some of the houses in the historic district. They pushed it to the historic preservation and our zoning people said no, and so it's back with the Board of Aldermen. So now letters have gone out for these homes that are burned in our communities, as well as those in the historic district. There will be actions taken on them. They will be taken down. So no one wants to live by blighted property. So we are working on that at this time as we speak.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carter.
Far as the abandoned homes that I have seen in Ward 7, those homes have been sitting there for a while, abandoned. Live-in houses or broken down houses, just sitting on a vacant lot, not being taken care of. Because listen to the people in the community, I listen to the people in the community. They got houses sitting right beside them that's been sitting there 3 or 4 years, just sitting there. So if you're gonna take down the housing, so you have to find out who owns that property and maybe either tear it down or fix it. One of the two, but just sitting there and the residents are complaining about those houses just sitting there. And they've been sitting there probably about 8 years, the lady told me. So it's like this, you got to get hold of that. Because it take the neighborhood down when abandoned home is sitting there. It take the value of your home down. And then you don't want to live in an area they got abandoned houses that people living in. So my job of getting in there is always.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. All right, thank you all. You may step down.
Thank you.
All right, so how are we doing so far? We knew this was gonna happen and we are going to be over our time limit. Can y'all give us another 15 minutes, an extra 15 minutes? Because we're getting ready for the mayoral candidates and I just believe y'all wanna hear from all of them. So we don't wanna shorten your time, but just not be stuck to that 8:30 time. Is that okay? All right, so, okay, so now we will switch over to our mayoral candidates coming forward. All candidates for mayor, the mayor's race, please come forward. And just be reminded, this is a forum and not a debate. Amen? Amen. And this is the other thing, we knew we were not going to be able to get to all the questions, and so we're trying to get as many as we can, but you will have time afterwards to speak individually with those candidates of your choice.
All right, so I've just been told you guys will have to share a mic, so just bear with us. All right. So let's give all of our mayoral candidates a hand. So we're going to start by asking each of you one question, all of you will have a chance to answer. And so for this first question, we have 1 minute to answer. So we will start with, I'm sorry, introductions. Introductions, I'm sorry.
Good evening. I come before you today as someone who believes deeply in the strength, resilience, and potential of our city. I am Daphne Johnson Sims, and I am honored to be a candidate for mayor. As a former alderwoman, accountant, educator, CMU commissioner, PTA president, and community leader, I've had the privilege of seeing firsthand the challenges we face, but also the opportunities waiting to be unlocked. I am running because I believe in you. I believe in our city's future, and I believe that together we can make it brighter than ever. Our city needs a bold vision and a practical plan to achieve it. My priorities as mayor will focus on these key areas: economic growth and opportunity, infrastructure and public services, education and youth empowerment, community safety and unity. Let's step forward together, not just with hope, but with determination. As the great Eleanor Roosevelt once said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And I believe in a dream, a vision for this city. Let's bring it to life. Let's build a city that we all can be proud of. I have proven leadership and experience that you need. So again, I am Daphne Johnson Sims, and I'm ready to lead with you, for you, and because of you. Thank you.
Good evening. We gotta do better. Good evening. Good evening. I know you all are dedicated because you're here. My name is Walter Peoples, and I plan on being your mayor. The most important thing about me is who I follow, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised. And one of the major questions that people always ask me, are you from here? Who's your family? Let me answer that for everyone. I'm a believer in Christ. I should have a lot of brothers and sisters in this room. I come from a two-parent home. Even though they were middle class, they believed that you worked for everything. There was nothing given. They didn't believe in giving allowances for washing the dishes because you were supposed to. You had to go outside and do something. I came to Canton, and that was all God. I questioned it, actually, all the way into this election. What brought me here? What am I supposed to do here? There were many tasks that the Lord asked me to do in the trip here, and they all came together to figure out just exactly what I'm supposed to do for this city. One of our major issues in this city is trust. We don't trust our local government. We can have all the plans in the world. I've actually been in city board meetings and I've seen some people work hard, actually. Until you repair the trust, you just never believe that they did what they were supposed to do. My goal was to build the trust by hard work. I've done many things in this city, starting right here at Canton Public Schools. I've made my automotive program a nationally certified program. The first automotive program in this state that you can get college credits for just attending a high school class. I left Canton Public Schools after COVID. I went to an independent shop and got a multi-million-dollar company to have faith in an independent shop, and they're the only independent shop, even though the company called Schneider, it's the only independent shop they deal with. I think outside of the box, and I'm rare. What is rare? I'm a minority, Black-owned business. I didn't go to a 4-year university. I went to Holmes Community College, and I made that degree work. We have students that leave this school, and we tell them to go to school, but we don't tell them to come back and serve this community. I come from a rough neighborhood in Chicago, and I figured it out. I want to be that example for the students and the children of Canton. I want to do that because I love you, and I love them. And I want to do it because I know I can. You have a lot of people who are employees. I want to give them an example from an employer. I've employed over 15 students from Canton Public Schools. I still have students of my own from Canton Public Schools that work for me today. What I don't like in Canton is I don't see enough Black-owned businesses. I want to show them how. I want to show you how. I want to get the word grant off the top of your lips. That means you're waiting for somebody else to give you something. It's great, and it's a blessing if a grant comes, but we're not supposed to wait till one gets here. We want projects that we do ourselves. Police, Boys and Girls Club, we can get started ourselves. When was the last time you heard of a fundraiser for our Boys and Girls Club? We talk about drainage. I showed up to a few projects and I told them we out here picking up rocks and paper. I'm a heavy equipment operator, a civil engineer for the United States Navy. Bring out a piece of equipment, I'll do it for free. I never got a call. There is talent in Canton that can solve our problems. We have to stop looking for outsiders to help us. With the budget we have right now, the system that's working against us in this county, there is a system that's working against Canton in this county. I know how to use that same system to increase our police force with better wages without using the current budget.
Time. Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Chip Matthews. I'm running for mayor again. I've done this a few times, y'all. One thing I've learned, and I currently work on a radio, and I do a radio show every day on WYAB. Be on at 6 in the morning tomorrow. But the thing you need to think about, that I think about every day now when I wake up, is that I know my future. And my future is I'm going to heaven. And we're in a town that everybody here is religious, for the most part. And the problem in this town is we need to get the devil out of our town. All of the, we've had 4, 5 aldermen go to jail or be convicted of crimes. We've got all the corruption going on at CMU that has gone on for years, and we all just act like we just brushed it under the rug. We have corruption at the schools. You want to know why Canton does not have new neighborhoods and why things don't happen and why we raise taxes this year rather than lower taxes? It's because our property values are going down, and our property values go down because the school is not doing as well as it should. And the Board of Aldermen and all them appoint these people that are running these schools. And I know that I'm in the school, and we know that we know of the problems, and I'm not going to attack anybody, but we know of the problems that have occurred with the schools and the people here. And we are a failing school district. But the ones that are in control, the kids, are proving to you that they're not failures because they're going out and winning state championships in basketball and stuff like that. They're doing what they can do, but we're not putting the leadership in place in the school system to make it a better school system. I know it's tough to hear. And it's the same thing at City Hall. We're not electing people to go to City Hall who will do anything. The mayor of Canton is responsible to do the work the aldermen asked them to do. It is not the mayor's job to define the law. He's supposed to enforce the law. We've had an absent mayor since before Arnell. And basically, we need someone who's going to say, yes, this road's going to get fixed. Yes, this grass is going to get cut. Yes, this building's going to get fixed. That's what you need. You need real leadership, and you need somebody to come in and just say, get the job done. We're paying people in public works. Tell me why the grass isn't cut. You know, we're paying people to do the jobs, and nobody's doing the jobs. So we've got to go a little bit further down the road, look at what's really wrong with our city, look what's really wrong with all of us, and fix it. And the biggest thing is, these are your candidates you have to pick from, and you go, oh, well, I wish we had some more. In the future, some of y'all get on the ballot, run for office. And as you look in this room, you might be all the people that come and vote in the election, because it's that poor. I mean, nobody goes out. Nobody does anything. You've got to talk to your neighbors and make them go vote. Go vote for somebody. Let's get some people in office and try to fix everything in Canton, because Canton's a great place to live, and we all want to make it a heaven here on earth before we go to heaven in a few years. Thank you.
All right. Just before Mr. Tim start, we just want to be mindful of the rules, you guys. I know things can get a little heated, but please be respectful as people are talking, and please refrain from making any loud outbursts. Amen? Amen. Mr. Tim.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, I'm Tim Scott Taylor, your candidate for mayor this year, 2025, April the 1st. I've been an alderman in the city of Canton for 5.5, almost 6 years. People ask, what was your inspiration to get in politics? As you know, most of you may know or may not know, in 2013, I went through a serious situation with my health. I lost my sight completely. I was blind for 4 months. Didn't know what I was gonna do. I have 4 daughters, 2 were in college at the time. And I never told anybody, I just kind of dealt with it. I had a friend in Jackson that kind of took me in for 4 months. And then finally, I started getting sight back. Didn't know what I was gonna do with my life, because all my life, I've worked in a situation where I was responsible for a lot of reading. But lo and behold, time turned around, and for 4 months that I hadn't seen anything, I knew my way around, and I was in the restroom attempting to wash my hands. And I looked up, the mirror is right here, and I saw this figure, and it was me. I hadn't seen myself in a while, and boy, did I look good. So I'm back in Canton, and all my daughters have at this particular time finished school. So I came back home and didn't know what I was going to do. And I had an itch for politics because I'm an avid reader. I read quite a bit. And I got the opportunity, thanks to Alderwoman Daphne Sims, she put me on the school board. My goal was to look at the underserved, the people who were making less money, the cafeteria workers and the janitors. The public school system had done away with the janitorial jobs. My fight was to go back in and get those people their jobs back so they could receive their retirement through PERS. Well, not long after that, there was also another task that I would not adhere to. So I was removed from the school board. Then I went into the city to give a speech one day. And as I was giving the speech, I was told, you are a blind lie, you're stupid, and you're ignorant. That was the motivation to push me to run for Ward 5. And on the night that I won, I still heard those voices ringing in my head. You're stupid, you're blind, and you're ignorant. But on tonight, you have to call me Alderman Tim Taylor. The blind, the stupid, and all that is out of the door. I went with momentum. I went with aggressiveness because I know the city is at the bottom of everything, but we don't have to get used to being on the bottom. We can work hard. Everything that every city has in this particular county, we can achieve the same things, but we've got to work hard. I have 4 daughters. I've been a single parent for 30 years. And that's one thing I say to my daughters all the time: no matter what you do, no matter where you go, and no matter who you fall in love with, always remember that I was the first man to ever fall in love with you. And with that, I push it. I don't ever want to hurt my daughter's feelings or embarrass them. And the spirit of the woman that brought me in this world, I will never, ever embarrass that spirit. So as we go forth, I heard the young lady say she was from Sharon, Mississippi. I too was born in that area. A little place called the Bottoms. They call it Dry Creek now. I have a country beginning, but I know that we can do better because the expectations of betterment should be in our hearts. So with that, as we go forward, again, I want to push real positive change. The realness is in the people, the positiveness will be in the actions, and the change won't just be blowing in the wind. We will get it done. And if you ever go and read the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment, you'll see where real positive change comes from. Again, I'm Tim Scott Taylor, your candidate for mayor 2025.
I'll touch you. Okay. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I am Camelia Walker, a candidate for mayor in the city of Canton, Mississippi. I sit before you with a heart of gratitude and a vision for a better Canton, one that is built on faith, fairness, and a future that includes everyone. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40, let all things be done in decency and in order. This scripture speaks directly to the type of leadership our city needs. Leadership that is structured, accountable, and transparent. For too long, our city has been held back due to disorder and mismanagement, but we have the opportunity now to change this together. As your next mayor, I will ensure that the city government is operated according to fairness, accountability, but surely fairness. And it is also important that we do all this in organization. Our streets deserve to be safe and well maintained. Our children to have equitable education and opportunities for success. And certainly, our businesses should thrive and not struggle. But our senior citizens should be exposed to experiences even throughout their wisdom. We have the opportunity right now to ensure that we put people in place in our city government that will listen and respond with results. For too long, we've allowed this to go to waste. But now we have the opportunity to ensure that we restore our trust, put people in place that will work for you, and ensure that we live up and exceed the potential that we know our city has. I look forward to answering your questions on this evening, building lasting bonds, but ensuring that we do all things in decency and in order. Thank you.
All right, thank each of you candidates. So now we know who our mayoral candidates are. So we're gonna get started. So our first question is for each of you candidates. We're gonna start with Mrs. Sims. How long have you been a legal resident here in the city of Canton? You have 1 minute to answer that question. 30 seconds.
A legal resident would be my age, and so 57.
12 years.
63 years.
I was born in 1963. I left in 1995. I came back in 2012. So ever since then, but I never missed a weekend coming to Canton. So a lifelong resident of Canton.
28 years.
All right. So our next question, we're gonna start with Ms. Sims. What will be your top 3 priorities during your first 60 days in office? You have 1 minute.
Okay. My top 3 priorities would be economic opportunity, infrastructure, and public safety. And if I could expound a little bit on those. Successful economic development requires planning and implementing solutions to make our community attractive for people to live here as well as work here. No one wants to come and invest in a city where it's not up to par. So we need to look at our surroundings and improve where we stay, where we live, and where we work, some of us. And then I would like to improve on our public safety. We need to put a strong law enforcement in place, have community engagement with those law enforcement officers, and then talk about the root causes of the crime. Because sometimes when you sit down with the citizens, you find out a lot about why crime is going on. And as well as—
There will be time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sir, sure can. It says, what would be your top 3 priorities during your first 60 days in office?
Let's start with number 1. We're gonna begin with prayer. Number 2, I want to present my vision to the board, not as a concrete document, but something that they can chop up, bring their ideas and issues that they have and problems they have with their ward, and we combine it with what my vision is. So what we need to change, we change. Third, we want to share that plan with the community and let the community then give their input to what that plan is so they can be part of the change. And third, I want to make sure, hey, y'all paying attention. That's awesome. We're gonna go ahead and pour. That economic plan, we have a lot of problems and they all need money. We have to have an economic plan so we can actually increase all these different things.
There will be time. Thank you.
Okay, y'all, money will only go where money feels safe. So the first thing we have to do is make the city safe. We have 2 o'clock in the morning, we have 14-year-olds driving around in cars with guns. We have that going on. We got to come up with some tough love and hold some people responsible for these kids. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to be zero tolerance on things. So if we hold the parents, and I mean, this is gonna suck, but it's gonna hold the parents accountable for your kids when they get out of the house. But we've got to make the city safer to where people would want to bring their businesses to Canton. You look at the square, it's completely empty. But where you go and shop now, you could ask those businesses to come to Canton, and over time, you could refill the square, and then you need to implement a plan of trust among the employees of Canton and make sure that they are doing the jobs that they were hired to do.
Thank you.
There are 3 components here. As a mayor, and I don't know if you all know that the mayor's duties are pretty much limited. First and foremost, as mayor, I want to establish a relationship with the Board of Aldermen. Because if you don't have that relationship, you can have the greatest plan in the world, it'll be dead on arrival if you don't get these aldermen to agree with you. Number 2, pushing great customer service at City Hall. City Hall is the nucleus of all municipal business that would be done in the city of Canton. If you've ever lived in a shotgun house, you had the living room, a middle room, and a kitchen. That living room was the nucleus. And third, professionalism, bringing it back to the city of Canton.
Thank you.
Well, the first 3 things that I would do is a priority. Is right, Crispy?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
The first thing, of course, would be able to go through our budget and identify where we have funding or funding needs. Because we want to be able to make sure that the people understand what is taking place prior to mayor and board of aldermen taking place as they move forward in that team effort. The second thing I would do is to ensure that there are people in place that work for you, because we want to make sure that we have the right people in the right places, not just filling vacancies. But the last thing I would do is be able to implement a mayoral advisory council and a mayoral youth council. It's going to be very important that we have places where we can always have buy-in from the citizens, but also hear insight from the youth on what needs to take place to keep them grounded within us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next question is for all candidates. We're gonna start with Mrs. Sims. Is it the city's role to provide youth programming? Why or why not? And if so, what does that look like? You have 2 minutes to answer that question.
I think the city should work in conjunction with the school. If we work as a team to provide youth activities, people have mentioned the Boys and Girls Club. I think we need to improve upon our tennis courts and establish activities that all the kids can be engaged in and have fun. I don't think the city should go in wholeheartedly. We need to work with the school board, school district, and just work as a team to make that happen for our youth.
All right, thank you.
The city of Canton should work on any need or issue that the city has. We have an issue with our youth getting into more things than they should. That makes it a city problem. And so it really doesn't matter what the issue is. If there's an issue, your city should be involved. Figuring out how to do it is a part of a team. That's why I say we should, at first, build that team so we can deal with present issues and future issues. I do want to comment with my last little second. I also want to make sure that we honor public servants who are leaving, regardless if we disagree, because I'm not going to tell you I agree with everything the police department does or everything that the previous mayor has done. But when you take the role as a public servant, you did it without causing a stain to the community, you should be honored because it is not easy to be a public servant. So regardless that I disagree with you in different times, Mayor Truly, thank you for your service.
All right, thank you.
If we talked about stains in the city, that would be a long subject because we've got trials coming up in June for people. But the reality is to work with the people, to work with the kids, we need to all get involved in neighborhood programs. When I grew up there, we called them nosy neighbors that were keeping up with what we were doing as we rode around the town on our bikes and did this, that, and the other. But the neighbors were keeping up with where the kids were going and what they were doing. And at least when I was young and you could get in the car and drive to Jackson and find something to do, all you can do now is drive to Jackson and get shot. And then every time you turn around, you hear that somebody from Canton is riding up and down the road getting shot. We've got to find stuff for the kids to do. We've got to find stuff for young adults to do. We don't have any of that. I've listened for years as other mayors who said they were going to bring a movie theater to town or this, that, and the other. Money is not going to go where it doesn't feel safe. We have to get these kids under control, one, for their future and for their sake, and then for all of us who are just scared to walk the streets of Canton because you could get shot. At 4 a.m, you could get shot, and it could be by somebody that isn't even old enough to have a driver's license. It could happen, and we've got to fix the Canton. We've got to fix our youth. If we don't take the time to fix everything, and we have to, there's so many things. You got to fix the school, you got to fix the roads, the bridges, but all we have is, every time I turn around, I'd go to a meeting and we're getting another $1 million to work on the splash pad at the park, or we're going to work on the walking trail at the park. And you never see either of the things get done. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why we don't spend our money on our youth on what we need to do. Jobs programs, stuff like that. Get them involved in the community. That's what needs to happen.
There will be time. Thank you.
Ms. Fields, I'll ask you to repeat the question.
Yes, sir, I sure can. Is it the city's role to provide youth programming? Why or why not? And if so, what does that look like?
Well, when you look at the city, you look at the structure of the city, you know that the mayor runs day-to-day operation. The Board of Aldermen, they're the legislative body of the city. So therefore, when we talk about our youth and what should and shouldn't come in, there's one department in the city of Canton that's designated for youth activities, and that's Parks and Recreation. Anything outside of that, the city can support, but the city can't run. Bottom line, I know there's a lot of talk about what we don't have, but we have to focus on what we do have and how it's not getting utilized fully. I know Parks and Recreation begs for kids to participate in their baseball and flag football and basketball programs. It is a feat to do that. So we have to focus on what we can do and support the other things that will come in. I know the highlight right now is the Boys and Girls Club. A lot of that failure was due to lack of participation. So I don't know what we can do, but I'll be willing to sit down and talk to anybody to expound upon those ideas and see just where we can go. I'm not a prophet. but I'm willing to sit and talk.
Thank you. We're gonna ask everyone to please silence your phones. All right, Ms. Walker.
I think it is a combined effort. With my background in education, as I mentioned before, I would implement a mayoral youth council because it is important that our scholars and our youth understand that just like the citizens in the community, city leaders, they have a place as well in their education system and in their community. So we can be able to implement initiatives, whether it's a day in the life of the mayor, or be able to just go in their school system each and every day, or whatever that may look like, to make sure that they see us in the presence of those uncommon areas that they may not see city leaders in. But in addition to that, it's very important that we understand the importance of relationship building. We have civic organizations, we have magic program that the Hope Center is bringing, we have K&K Foundation, we have church groups that do different implementation, and as Alderman Taylor says, we have the Parks and Recs. But we need to be able to make sure that we have buy-in from the kids to make sure that we're catering these services to them and that it is current and up to date as to what they like. Some things do get outdated, but we want to make sure that they're current so that we don't lose sight of keeping them, their retention, and keeping their engagement informed as we go out and implement those programs through the community.
All right, thank you, Ms. Walker. All right, so our next question is for all candidates, and you have 2 minutes to answer this question. So what would be your plan to create an inclusive environment to improve race relations among the Black, Latino, and white communities? Ms. Sims.
I think all races are looking for a safer community. All races are looking for good jobs. All races are looking for somewhere safe to stay. So, you don't go up to a person and, judge them. You don't want this because of your race. We're all looking for a great opportunity to live together in peace. So I would bring everyone to the table. I would hear from everyone, get ideas, and as previously stated, we have to work with the aldermen. And if we can get everybody on board, we would work hard to make it a safe place for everyone.
All right, thank you.
I currently live, actually, my house burned down a couple of years ago, and I've still been rebuilding it because of an issue with Allstate. We're still at our address, but my neighbors are white. How do you build a relationship with anyone? You work at it. We make no attempt to have a better relationship with other communities, and you can have, not other communities, but other races, you can have a better relationship just by when you have interview processes for different positions at City Hall. You interview them and pick the best person for the job. When you have a City Hall and the other face isn't there, there's no way for other nationalities to trust it. Imagine when City Hall was all white. Did you trust it? No. We have to become more diverse. And when you become more diverse and you put others in City Hall, you have somebody who sees what's going on in City Hall and they get to go back and tell their friends, no, that's not how it was. They actually spent that money the right way. But when you don't let everybody be included, you can never build trust.
Yes.
So I would definitely make sure that in the interview process, that we make sure that everybody knows about the position. Thank you.
Thank you.
I grew up in Canton when there was a big division in town. And I was in the first grade when I was pulled out of Canton Elementary and carried and told I would go to school at Canton Academy. So I didn't get an opportunity to actually go to school with this man next door to me because he was in school at the same time I was in school. And back then we all kept separate apart. You know, you had this side of the tracks, you had that side of the tracks. Well, boys and girls, we don't have two sides of the tracks anymore. We are all living on both sides of the tracks. We all eat in the same places. We all shop in the same places. We all participate in the same places. But we all look for a better education for all our kids, wherever it may be. Most of people want to get their kids in school at Germantown or in the Madison County School District. The super site out there is referred to as Madison County every time. They don't want to say they came to Canton and opened up a business because Canton the school district is really a problem. And the Madison County School District, with their aid, makes these businesses want to come to this community. And more people are going to come to this community with their kids of all races. And we're all going to get along. And because we all do, there's nobody running around trying to kill each other other than the criminals. And we need to do something about the criminals. I mean, it's saying, I mean, I know at one time there was some rumor going around that we had to have an all-black shift on the fire department, or we can't have a white guy working at the police department. I mean, I had businesses on the square. I heard what people were saying and this, that, and the other. And I understand the growth that Canton had to do from black to white. And some people fear that if a white person got involved,
There will be
it would
time.
bad.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask one more time to repeat the question.
Yes, sir, I sure can.
Okay.
So what would be your plan to create an inclusive environment to improve race relations among the Black, Latino, and white communities?
Let me go back in time, and we have to look at how this country was built in the Reconstruction after 1877. 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson, which said that all schools were separate but equal, but everything else even with the laws. Come on down to 1954 with that great landmark case, Brown versus Board of Education. And even with that, we saw a fight with the Supreme Court justices. Chief Justice Warren said, we will do this, but we will do it with all deliberate speed, meaning do it as slowly as possible. And we're still coming from under that. Then come on down to 1968, a law that was signed into action by Lyndon Baines Johnson. It was called affirmative action that was set with quotas. So now we're beyond that, and the question is now, should affirmative action be dissolved? Well, when something has been broken for so long, it takes just that much longer to fix it. And we're still in the fixing mode. Yes, diversity is important. Yes, we should have diversity in the city of Canton. And when we look at that 1968 affirmative action law, City Hall and everything else in the city of Canton should reflect what its people look like. So as we go forward, we've got to do a better job, especially on the African American side, to put diversity and inclusion and always go back to what racial reconciliation and atonement means. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's important that we not so much focus on the differences in our ethnicities, but we focus and understand that we are citizens with needs. So as it relates to how I will be able to address the coming together of the Latino, white community, as well as the African Americans community, I work at Millsaps College, where there are about 85 staff members and 5 of us are African Americans. So I have learned to be able to adapt in environments and truly understand the ways of communicating with those outside of my race. As it relates to the Latinos, I've been able to, in my educational background, serving as an educator, communicate with the English language learner students and be able to learn their language so I can be able to communicate with them, but also learn their culture and have a respect for their culture. So it's important as citizens of Canton and as a leader that I truly understand their background, but also understand and address their needs. Even as it relates to our African American community, we have senior citizens that may not be able to understand certain things. So we need to still be able to address that. As it relates to our website, there may be people that are partially blind that go on there. We want to be able to make sure the lighting is addressed to their needs. but making sure that we're ADA compliant and disability service compliant so we can be able to address all needs regardless of ethnicities.
All right, thank you, Ms. Walker. All right, so now we're gonna dive just a little bit deeper. We have some specific questions for each candidate, and you have 2 minutes to answer each one. All right, Mr. Tim Taylor, this question is for you. Why has it taken so long for the city to get all the audits completed?
That is a very good question, and I think a lot of what we've been doing is trying to play catch up. And the same thing will happen if you go through a complete change at City Hall. You're going to start over. It's a reset that you have to go through. Consistency and continuation is important. We've just gotten to the threshold of what we need to do, and in some cases, a lot of us understanding procedures and processes. It's no easy task. Reading this information is very important. The reason why you have to ask the previous administration, but I know with this particular administration, we were catching up, catching on, developing methods, and then executing what we can get executed. One of the things I know when I become mayor, the current people that are handling our audits won't exist in the city of Canton anymore. We're going to terminate that contract because it's taken too long to get results to let us know where we are. And as we go forward, I have been a proponent of doing what's right. The chief of police and I grew up together, but I know when he needed cars, I wouldn't budge because I felt like the flooding was just as important. But because of these audits and what we can't get, we know this is the #1 priority going forward to fix it. And if you hit the reset button without consistency, you're going to be back in the same situation. When you look at cities that you compare Canton to and say, why do they have what they have? Consistency. Look at Madison. They have nobody running against the incumbents in Madison because they're consistently growing and given the opportunity to have that growth and do a great job with motivation and working toward consistency.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. All right, so this question is for Mrs. Daphne Sims. Please outline your key accomplishments from your tenure as Alderwoman. Explain how those accomplishments demonstrate your capabilities and vision for serving as mayor.
Well, just to give you a couple, I was instrumental in bringing the Magnolia Car Wash to Highway 22 that we all enjoy. I was also instrumental in bringing the health clinic that's next door to Love. It took everyone's vote, but it took me a while to get everyone on board. I was instrumental as Alderwoman of Ward 4 in keeping the parks clean, bringing playground equipment, and just going door to door to citizens every day to see what their individual needs were. So I was present, I was transparent, I was accountable, and I think I must pat myself on the back because I did a good job.
All right, thank you. All right, this next question is for Ms. Camelia Walker. So, what role do you have in the testing scandal at Nichols Middle School in 2023? And what will you do to correct the city's image and rebuild trust on the local, state, and national level as a result of the scandal?
Thank you for that question. As you were asking me that, John 8 instantly came to mind, where Jesus said, if there be anyone without sin, cast the first stone. And as he said that to me, he rose and he asked her, where are those that condemn thee? And she says, they are gone. And Jesus said, well, I will not condemn thee. Go and sin no more. I have a commitment to education. Since then, I have obtained my education specialist from Mississippi College. I've become the first in the history of Millsaps College, which was founded in 1890, to serve as a student success coach. And I sit before you completed my degree requirements in education administration and supervision, K-12, from Jackson State University. I have a commitment now extended to the people of Canton, Mississippi. I am who I am because of the foundation that I have received from Canton, Mississippi. Even during my tenure at Canton Public School District, my neighbors, my loved ones, and I stand before you asking you that we know that all people are not perfect, but we know that with God and with the strength of Jesus that we can do all things, for it is him who strengthens us. So I ask that you stand with me and vote a new way, a new voice with Camelia Walker, as I have learned from that time to now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. So, our next question is for Mr. Walter Peoples. So, what motivated your decision to run independent, and how does this set you apart from those affiliated with a political party?
I'm gonna begin and say that's how you hit one out the park. Wish you would ask me after Chip. Truth is, it's hard because you gotta say the truth. Truth is, I voted Democrat my whole life. When I made the decision, and I'm not gonna say I just made that decision. When I come to realize that God wanted me to go ahead and run for mayor, I decided I had to think about how do I accomplish the things that I want to get accomplished. Well, we are in a Democratic city, in a Republican state. I want to be able to get to the table where I can do more for this community. I felt like if I ran as a Democrat and I won, at the end result would be the same thing that's already here. You wouldn't be able to accomplish everything. But I can get to the table as an independent. So if I can't get what I want done, there's no purpose for me to just run as an independent. Run as a Democrat. I'm running as an independent so I can go to Republican tables and actually politic for this community.
All right, thank you. All right, so Mr. Chip Matthews, given this city's strong Democratic majority, how do you plan to build bipartisan trust and effectively govern across party lines while staying true to your Republican values?
Well, my Republican values means that I am a conservative, and I believe in God, and I believe in what y'all believe in, because I don't feel that the Democrat from Mississippi, and especially the town I grew up in, is the Democrat that is portrayed on the national basis. I may be wrong, but I don't believe y'all are that radical or that crazy. We do have a few in there that are politically on top of things and want to hang out with the AOCs in the world and this, that, and the other and call people names. But the truth is, this community has always been one community. And we are all from Canton, and we all want the same thing. And you know, when you look at things like the audit, well, yeah, we instead of bringing in somebody to do the audit, we should have called they have to vote on that. And if they vote on an audit and bring Shad White in, yes, he's a Republican, but he seems to be a type of person who would find the money, but they're so scared of the corruption that goes on, they don't invite the state auditor to come in. These are things that need to happen to clean up the city. The people in this town don't think Republican and Democrat. The people that are in the parties and the political people running for office think Republican and Democrat. But it really, our elections really, I would push for us to have a one-party thing where everybody ran at large and nobody didn't recognize for the party, which is what they did in Greenville for a while. And that is something that we could look at, because right now you're looking at a Democratic committee that put together an election, and only one person has signed up to be on the new committee. And the old committee was blackmailed in the meeting to approve everybody on that ballot. And that's just the way it is. And I mean, we got to do better. I mean, Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. We're all in Canton together, and you've got to.
Your time's up. Thank you. All right, so, well, you have another question. So, this for Mr. Chip Matthews. So, Canton has faced challenges with economic development and job opportunities. As a Republican candidate, what specific strategies will you implement to attract new businesses and improve employment while ensuring those plans resonate with the needs of this diverse community?
Well, for starters, you don't have any businesses in Canton. You have a few, and I've had a restaurant or two here. And my new restaurant is out on the reservoir, and it does well. But the reality is you've got to go and find the people that would come to Canton and be a part of Canton. Canton should look like Oxford Square. It should be full of businesses. It should be thriving. It would be a great community. And so and I don't know how much the current leadership goes and visits with the state house and the government and try to find these developers to come in. You're sitting down there and Gene McGee builds more stores than he can imagine. And y'all look at Richland. That County Line Road area is South Jackson fixing to happen as soon as that mall closes. That is gunfire zone, and it's falling apart. But those businesses need a safe place to go. We've got to create a safe place because money is only going to go where it feels safe. And we have to go and find the businesses and bring them to the square. And I would meet with the Republican leadership of the state and of the United States because I've met the guy. You know, Trump seems to be all right. He seems to be on top of things. But we've got to talk to the people that have the money in order to get the people to come here. Understand that. And we've got to do that. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Before we move forward, so if you guys are leaving, please stop by the table on the outside to survey this forum tonight. Committee members want me to tell you the guys there, so if you have to leave, please stop at that table outside to complete a survey. All right, so moving forward, we have some questions for our candidates. This is for Mr. Tim Taylor and Walter Peoples, and this question relates to business attraction and retention. What specific strategies do you plan to implement to attract new businesses to Canton and retain existing ones and work with other economic entities to be successful?
You want to go?
Mr. Taylor.
Oh, I thought you said Peoples. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, first of all, we got to clean the city up. Nobody wants to come to a city that doesn't take care of what they already have. And people ask, why don't businesses want to come to Canton? Well, there was a statement made that nobody likes Canton. It's not the truth. People want to go where they can get a return on their investment. People want to go where the city is kept up and they take care of what they already have. So as we go forward, it's fundamental things that we have to do to attract the businesses to the city of Canton. As I indicated, number one, customer service in Canton has to change. It's the nucleus of the idea that everybody gets of the city and what should and shouldn't go on there. Number two, we've gotten bad press. I hear what Chip is saying, but your agencies, Mr. Commentator, Moderator, they only come to Canton when something bad happens. But when good things are going on, we don't see them. I've had 20 cleanups in this city. I've reached out to pastors and the media. They don't show up. 3 weeks later after a cleanup, there was a murder in the area. They were swarming like bees because of that. Look, highlight us in a good way because there are a lot of great things that go on in the city, not just the bad things. And bad components go on everywhere, not just in Canton. They are everywhere. And we in this city, as we grow, we've got to get prepared. We're going to appreciate the good, and we're going to be ready to tackle the bad. We're just like anybody else. We're human race driven, and we want nice things also. So as we go forward, keep that in mind, and let's do the great things that will attract great attention instead of the negative attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
Well, I'll go back to a story myself. It won't be from 1977 or 1822. I'm gonna go back to something my mother told me when I got ready to start dating seriously. She said, write down all the things you want in a woman. And once you write all those things down, make sure you're the type of man that woman is looking for. We gotta do the same thing with this city. We gotta write down the type of businesses we want here, and we gotta make sure we the type of city that those businesses wanna come to. It's not hard. It's gonna take a few things. How do you help the police force? You help the police force inside your house. Teach by example forgiveness. Our children don't know how to forgive each other. That's why they hurt each other. Because they didn't watch their mother get into it with an auntie or uncle, and they can't never come to peace. And they see that. the war continues over periods of time. That affects the community because they have no example of how to forgive one another. That policing and those issues that all these businesses see on the news, there's some truth. We don't get enough positive publicity. But if we consistent, it don't matter when they come. It's always gonna be some positive there. So we have to become consistent at all things positive. I'm running for mayor in Canton. My name is Walter Peoples, and I can't wait to serve you.
All right, thank you. All right, so now we're about to go into our Q&A and this question is for all candidates. And we're gonna start with Mrs. Sims. What exact experience do you have in governmental affairs and solving problems?
Well, as previously stated, I am a former alderwoman, so I have been to the table. I am much aware of the issues and the goings-on of the audits, the budget, so I am experienced in that area. I do have an accounting degree, so I will be fit to serve and help with the budget. Educator, CMU commissioner, PTA president, and a community leader. And like the gentleman stated, if you kind of run the city in a big atmosphere like you run your household, you want to get everything in order, you know, dot your I's and cross your T's, pay your bills on time, you know, don't overspend. That's how you run a city, but in a big way. So I think I'm qualified, and I guess I'll plug here too. I'm the leader that you're looking for with experience. Vote for Daphne Johnson Sims on April 1st.
All right, thank you. Mr. Peoples?
Please repeat. Please repeat.
I'll repeat the question. Yeah, so what exact experience do you have in governmental affairs and solving problems?
Well, governmental affairs, United States Navy, 12 years. I've built things in combat zones. Dealing with the government, per se, other than a job in the United States Navy, I wouldn't call myself a politician. I actually don't choose to be ever labeled as a politician. I've been serving this community since I got here. The thing that I didn't do is make sure somebody took some pictures of it. If you have any event that's happened in this city, I was there before most people got there, did my work and left. After that party was over, that event was done, I came back and cleaned it up. I didn't look for a picture, somebody taking a picture to make sure it's done. So it's hard for me to do this and talk about myself because that's never been me. But if you ask a couple of people about me, they'll tell you they saw me there and they'll tell you what I was doing. So when you ask me about the government, my thing is this: I'm gonna love you regardless if I'm mayor or not, because that's what I've been doing since my father started raising me as a baby.
All right, thank you. Mr. Matthews.
Okay, well, I guess my government experience would be being involved in getting permits for the various businesses I've owned in New Orleans and in Birmingham and in Jackson, and having to deal with the red tape and the things that go on and the graft that occurs when you go in to get a permit. And all of these things are what's going on in Jackson. And you know, it's like in Canton, I've had 2 cars stolen from my driveway by the city of Canton. They took the cars. They didn't like them. They took them. And I mean, this is not stuff that's normal. This is I've been harassed by everybody here with the government. And that's okay. I live with it. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. But we've got to do better with the government. When you go see the government needs to be doing better for you. Because the government, you know, when the road isn't fixed, that's the government's fault. When the garbage isn't picked up, that's the government's fault. When the city floods, and I live in one of the many houses where the yard floods, it's 2 feet deep. These are things that, as the government, if I'm one of them, I will work on fixing, because these are the real problems. And all we do is kick the can down the road. We don't try to fix the problems in our community. And I know they try, but too many worried about how much money they're going to get out of the deal, what they're going to do. And we can't say that that isn't the way it is, because we have trials going on right now that are involved with the Rudy Warnock money and this, that, and the other, and who took it, and people pled guilty. I mean, the real problems in Canton are the politicians, and the politicians have been criminals. We've got to fix that, period. That's it.
Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Chris, I'm not slow or anything with you. Would you repeat the question? I think I get caught up in everybody else's conversation.
I got you. So one more time, Mr.
Okay,
Taylor.
all right.
So Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
what exact experience do you have in governmental affairs and solving problems?
Listen, I've been an alderman for 5.5 years. I'm the only candidate on this stage on April the 2nd that can go to work right away. I will not need on-the-job training. I can take off. I've had the opportunity to, I believe, to work with one of the smartest mayors that I've ever seen. And that is in Dr. William Truly. Now, we don't always agree, but highly intelligent individual. And of course, I saw some propaganda go out last week about the 7 people in the city that don't care. Well, let me rename that and say, I work with the Magnificent 7. Each brings a different skill set to the table, and we get it done. Sometimes it takes to 1 o'clock in the morning, but my motto is, I don't care how long it takes, I get paid to do this, and I got all night. So my experience has been deep. Again, let me reiterate. On April 2nd, after I win this election, now April 1st is the election, April 2nd is when I'm gonna go to work. And now you made me lose my thought. But anyway, let me reiterate that on April the 2nd, I can go to work and I will not need any on-the-job training. I know what the challenges are. I know what we need to do. I know who we need to communicate with. And first of all, as I indicated to you, I've got to build a relationship with the Board of Aldermen. If the aldermen don't flip, the relationship is there and the speed will be dynamic. We're gonna get some things done. And we're gonna get some things done with or without the people who don't wanna fit what's going on. So therefore, on April 1st, let's support real
There
positive.
will be time, Mr. Taylor. Thank you.
Ms. Walker was distracting me over here.
Oh, okay. Ms. Walker, don't distract him. And he just started the trend, okay? Ms. Walker, so what exact experience do you have in governmental affairs and solving problems?
Yes, sir. So I have been a Madison County coordinator for a senator and a sitting transportation commissioner for his previous election and his current re-election. In addition to that, I've also served as a field organizer for a justice serving judge. So with that experience, I've specialized in people, understanding how to be a great listener, but also be able to be a great responder, and in certain instances, be able to give immediate feedback and timely feedback in that instance. I've also been able to be a dedicated community leader in the city of Canton with being able to implement your signage throughout the holidays. And with that, I've been able to bring hope and a good climate and culture to our city. In addition to that, I went to a board meeting on one Tuesday, heard that the firemen needed mattresses, and on that Thursday, all of them were delivered mattresses. So taking initiative in our city government would not just be on the side and expecting the alderman and the mayor to do it, but being a citizen and taking initiative prior to running for office.
All right, thank you, Ms. Walker. All right, so our last question of the night for all mayoral candidates. Ms. Sims, how strong will you be as mayor to not allow outside forces and voices to sway the best interest of the city?
I will be very strong. As someone stated, you have to have honesty, transparency, and accountability. Working with the aldermen, we will do what's right, what's legal, and we would do it persistently.
All right, thank you. Again, read it again. All right. So how strong will you be as mayor to not allow outside forces and voices to sway the best interest of the city?
I'm already proving that right now. I have a lot of people who wanted to contribute to my campaign. I don't plan on allowing anybody to contribute to my campaign because I don't want to owe you anything. I'm gonna govern by however means necessary on what's fair to this community. Secondly, I want to make a real serious correction. No matter who comes out April 1st as a victor, your race begins April 2nd when you race against me. So good luck, Godspeed, but you got a real race coming if you win.
All right, thank you. Mr. Matthews.
Since I haven't asked, would you repeat the question?
Yes, sir, I sure will. See, Mr. Taylor, you get started.
I know.
How strong will you be, Mr. Matthews, as mayor to not allow outside forces and voices to sway the best interest of the city?
Well, the first thing is the mayor's job is to get the job done. And the job that they're supposed to be getting done is the job of the alderman. So outside influences should not be attacking the mayor. The mayor is supposed to be implementing the plan the aldermen see, and the aldermen are implementing the plan of the people in each ward. So when the grass isn't cut, and let's say Tim's in number 5, he's supposed to call me and say, Mayor, what's the problem? Can you hire some people that can get it cut? Can you get it done? Why can't you get your people to do it? You got to fire some people and bring some more people in. The mayor's job is not, he's supposed to help with policy. He's supposed to be the guy that goes out and finds the new businesses for the community. You're the cheerleader for the place, but your actual job is being the lowest man on the totem pole. If the job ain't getting done, you're the one that's supposed to be doing it because you answer to the alderman. And that's period it. So when you say what is the mayor supposed to do, the mayor works on policy. He does some things, but outside influences, the mayor doesn't have that power. And everybody acts like the mayor has more power than they can. It's just like people think the governor has all the power. No, the lieutenant governor has all the power. And so you got to know what you're talking about. And the reality is, I'm going to do what the aldermen want, and then I'm going to tell them what needs to get done, and then hope that they want to budget that will occur. That is the way it works. The mayor, we have a weak mayor system. And your mayor, although truly wants to act like he was in charge and he wants to be the top guy, and nothing wrong with that. But that's not the way our city's set up. Our city is set up to listen to the alderman and implement the plan that the people of Canton want.
All right, thank you, Mr. Matthews. Are you ready, Mr. Taylor, for the question?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor, how strong will you be as mayor to not allow outside forces and voices to sway the best interest of the city?
Let me tell you this, when you go through things in life, you'll be amazed at the way you rebound, how you fall down and how you get up. If you ever lose your sight, you're gonna fall down quite a few times. And what that does is make you reflect back to Romans 8, when it talks about going through iniquities. And at the end, after you go through these iniquities, what it does, it makes you have perseverance and it builds your character. And I think I'm still going through a character building stage. People will mock you. And some people have said, well, and a former school teacher said this about me, nobody wants a blind man to lead them. Well, be careful with that, because none of us know what's coming for us. None of us. And if you told me at 50 years old I would be going through this, I wouldn't believe it. But let me tell you this. When I was diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy, my vision was 2200. On December 6th of 2024, my vision was 2070. Great improvement. Why? Because I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep pushing. And I do believe our faith pushes our strength. So when you talk about strength and being accountable, I've been an alderman 5.5 years. I've only missed 3 days off work. I don't drive anywhere, but I can get anywhere I need to get because I have the motivation to do it. I have the motivation to lead this city. I will lead this city. And if I fail, I'm going to die trying to get to do the things that we need to do in this particular city. Great times are coming, and we're going to benefit from them. One passage in the patriotic song, America the Beautiful, we have to understand, and it states, God has shed his grace on thee. That thee would be us. Canton.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Ms. Walker.
Same question, right?
Yeah, same question.
Well, it is important that, as Mr. Matthews said, that we understand and uphold the policy, the ordinances, as we've heard earlier, ethics, whatever the law is, uphold it. That way you will not be able to be swayed away. Because if you sway away, you're going to get in trouble. So just sticking to that, you won't be in trouble. Simple.
All right, thank you, Ms. Walker. You guys, let's give all of our candidates a hand. You know, it's not easy being in the hot seat, but they did a fantastic and phenomenal job. So I think this concludes. We have final remarks, and we will have the benediction.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fields. You all can rest or leave the stage. You're good. I just want to acknowledge one other person that is on the ballot, and she's here tonight. Ms. Teresa Kelly Reed is on the ballot as part of the Democratic Executive Committee. So I just want to acknowledge that she's here. And of course, that committee works to certify the candidates prior to actually getting here, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you all for being here. At this time we've got yes, acknowledgements and then the benediction.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Shannon Anderson, Vice President of the Upsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, located here in Canton, Mississippi. Before we move into our closing remarks, we'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank those who helped make this evening possible. First and foremost, thank you all to all the candidates for your time, your thoughtful responses, and your willingness to serve. Your participation tonight helped create an informative and engaging discussion for our community. Do we have any former or current elected officials in attendance tonight? If so, please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. To our event hosts, organizers, and sponsors, united we stand. I kindly ask the committee representatives from these groups to stand and be recognized. Angela Carson, Pine Grove Association Incorporated. Miracle Metlock, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Upsilon Omega Chapter. Darius Williams, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Roselle Lambda Chapter. John Brown, Madison County Union for Progress. Jory Davis, Top Ladies of Distinction Incorporated, Central Mississippi Chapter. Gail White, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. The Velma Jackson Class of 1991. LaTanya Conanu, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Madison County. Darian Knox, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Kappa Chapter in Canton, Mississippi. We would like to give a heartfelt thank you for planning and supporting tonight's forum. We know this task was not easy, but your behind-the-scenes work ensured that the forum ran smoothly and respectfully. We're truly grateful for your efforts. To our security personnel and law enforcement partners, we sincerely thank you for ensuring a safe and welcoming environment for all guests this evening. And finally, to you, our audience, both in person as well as online, thank you for showing up, staying informed, and taking part in this electoral process. Your interest and engagement are what make forums like this meaningful and impactful. Again, thank you. Good evening. I know we are all tired, but it's worth the cause of what we've gone through tonight. I want to thank everyone for being here. Let's give all of our candidates for Alderman as well as Mayor raise a round of applause. On behalf of the Madison County, Mississippi Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, my name is Dionne Woody. I serve as the president of the chapter of Madison County, Mississippi. And on behalf of all the ladies back here and all of the organizations who have hosted this important mayoral and alderman candidate forum, thanks again for attending on tonight. Tonight's forum has been meaningful and engaging dialogue about the future of our community. As public service organizations committed to social action, civic engagement, and political awareness, we recognize the significance of informed voting and active participation in the election process. Events like this provide an opportunity for residents to hear, like you've heard tonight, directly from the candidates, asking for pressing questions and asking to make, this will give you an opportunity to make your decisions at the ballot box. To our candidates, thank you for your willingness to serve and for joining us to share your vision for the city of Canton. Your leadership and commitment to public service shapes the policies that impact our families, businesses, and future generations. To our community members, your presence tonight is a testament to the power of civic engagement. An informed voter is an empowered voter, and your role in the process is vital. Again, thank you for being here on tonight, and don't forget out to go and vote on April 1st. Have a good night. That's what I was saying.